Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me today. As you can see, it's kind of an interesting phenomenon kind of day in Los Angeles, being that it's raining. It is not the first rainfall of the season. I think this is the second for us here in Santa Clarita. I think other parts of the state have gotten a little bit more rain earlier in the season, but I'm glad to see it because everything is dead or dying all around us, and the trees look like they could really use a drink. So, anyway, thank you for joining me. I wanted to quickly record this video because I only have a few minutes here between meetings, and as you can see, I'm sitting in my driveway getting ready to head to the office. But I thought I would quickly touch on this article, and this is an older article. This was published September 13th of 2021, and the title of it says, "The 2021 Chevrolet Bolt is the highest rated EV tested by Consumer Reports." So, in fact, there you go. I'll post this link in the description. I'm not going to copy and paste the article because this video is not really about this article. It's more so along the lines of my addressing some confusion that may or may not exist here. And for me personally, you guys know a couple of days ago I shot a video about how Consumer Reports essentially downgraded the Bolt EV and the Bolt EUV from their list of recommended cars to their consumers. Now, I also mentioned that there aren't probably many people that look at them or swear by them. I don't know what the consensus is with Consumer Reports, but I will say this. I do know one person who swore by Consumer Reports, but then everybody else that I've talked to is like, whatever. It's just another thing to add confusion into the mix with. And I agree with that part. And actually, some of you guys have been really great at commenting down below and putting down your opinions, because that kind of solidifies the point that I'm trying to drive home, is that articles like this, especially ones that cause confusion and contradiction, this one specifically, like I said, this was published September 13th, and it was the highest rated vehicle. And then, a week ago, they dropped it. They went 180 on the car. Now, here's the thing that you got to remember, that Consumer Reports, when they rated the Bolt EV the highest rated EV, we were already in the recall. We were already dealing with GM and the manufacturing process of the new batteries, et cetera, et cetera. We already had the full swing. So, you know, Consumer Reports, in my opinion, had the opportunity in September to not rate the vehicle as high as it did. Highest rated. So that to me is highest of them all. I don't know what that means, but like it says here, right above the picture, the highest rated electric vehicle is somewhat affordable. I think it's great. They show a Bolt EV right there. That's the 2021 Bolt EV, by the way. But that's neither here nor there. The part that drives me nuts is that there are people that take something like Consumer Reports and they amplify it, magnify it, and they make it the gospel, which to me is wrong. I think, and this is my opinion, and you guys, stop watching if you don't want to hear my opinion, but from where I'm sitting, I have never actually read a Consumer Reports article until I came across this whole Consumer Reports thing with the Bolt EV. And I wasn't very happy with what they wrote because I, as an owner, do not agree with 95% of what they said. Apparently the report also didn't touch on the recall itself, which means their ratings were done outside of the confines of the recall. At least to me. As an engineer, I would think that. I can't support that, but there was also speculation in the article that I posted to the last video that actually said that it appeared that Consumer Reports did that review without any consideration of the recall. Well, then why did they 180 on the rating? Why did they literally flip around and go the other way, and rate and take the vehicle off their recommended list for consumers? More confusion, more confusion. Anyway, like I was saying, I am the type of person that'll learn the technology. I spent probably 6 or 7 months learning this car. And I actually have wiring diagrams. I have, network layouts of this car and everything. I'm an engineer. This is what I do. And I was curious about how the design of this car allowed it to become what it was, And I will tell you again and again, and forgive me to those that are tired of hearing of it, but I love this car. I cannot state that loud enough. This car is the best car that I've ever owned for many reasons. But suffice it to say, my cost of ownership has been, well, nothing. I think, between the free power from the solar on the roof to, having a level 2 charger here at the house and it not costing me anything to fill up my car, even with the 10 kilowatt hour battery on the side of the house, I can fill up this car at least, 15 to 20% of the way, just on the battery if it's dark or whatever. And then during the day, the solar that I generate kind of negates those charges. Going back to why I got this car. Now, I've said this story several times. My 8-year-old, at the time he was 7, he convinced me that I needed to stop polluting. He made a case in his pure, innocent way. He said, "Daddy, why are you driving a car that smells when it runs?" And at the time I was driving a diesel, so yeah, diesels do have a smell, especially when you start them up and they're cold. They have a really strong sulfur smell. And, trying to get through to him that I needed a car that, could get me to work, could get me to all of our clients when needed, and I needed to be able to drive long distances without, spending an exuberant amount of money. I mean, this is a conversation that I was having with a 7-year-old. Like, what 7-year-old asks about, saving the planet type stuff? Well, my kid did, and God bless his soul, I took him up on it, and I went full-fledged. It was literally a conversation that started at the start of pandemic, somewhere around March, April, whenever it was. And then in November, I bought the car. But during that time, I did all the research. I test drove this car 3 times with 3 different reps. I specifically asked for different reps because I didn't want somebody's bias or influence to sway me either way. And it was funny because the last person I test drove with, he was silent. He didn't even say anything. He just sat in the chair, and at the end of the test drive, when I pulled back into the dealership, he asked me what I thought of it, and I gave him my honest opinion. I said, "This is a great car, and this is the 3rd time I test drove it. It's a different model. I think it was the Premier that I test drove that time, etc., etc., and it was great. I couldn't complain. That's how I decided on this. I didn't need a Consumer Reports article to, influence my judgment, to tell me, oh, this car has this and this and this problems. Or on the flip side, they could have easily said, well, this car is great, it's excellent, whatever, and then I buy it and then it sucks. Because after all, the Chevy Bolt EV is not the only car Consumer Reports highly recommends. Let's just put that out there too. In any case, I don't mean to bore you guys with my banter, but I just wanted to say that It's articles like this that add confusion to the mix. The only thing that I can recommend to everybody is to, make your own decision. Educate yourselves on the technology, on everything, how everything works, and learn every single, mundane detail about the car. You can download the owner's guide or the manual that comes with the car and literally flip through it on your iPad, like, or iPhone, whatever. You can look through it and see what features there are, what it can do, and then take it with a grain of salt that you're going to make the right decision, right? But if a recall comes out of it, something major like this battery fire recall, just know that, GM's not going to drop you on your head. I understand that a lot of people believe that GM has been just taking their time and doing things very slow and whatever. I get it, folks. I'm not judging that. But what I will say is that you have to understand the state of the world that we're in. This isn't ordinary times. This is about as extraordinary as it gets. We're dealing with supply delays that are stretching into years. In August, I ordered some network switches for a client, and they will not be manufactured until February of 2022. So next year. I'm still waiting for them to be manufactured. I have gear that, I ordered in August that is just now being manufactured this week, next week, whenever, and it's supposed to ship in January sometime. When you're talking about electronics and computer parts and circuitry and whatnot, 99% of this stuff comes from either China or some other country that manufactures it. And because of COVID, we're just in a pickle when it comes to this stuff. Timing's horrendous. This recall came at a bad time, but, we have to just stick it out. We have to understand that as long as we follow the guidelines, as long as we do our best to stick together as a community of Bolt EV owners and not bash GM for something that was beyond their control. Could they have made some changes in their manufacturing early on that would have detected this? Probably, but then again, they had an agreement with LG, so who knows? I don't know. Again, I'm not here to judge them. I'm here to underline that the Bolt EV is a great car. I trust this car fully. I have my family in here every day. I take my son in it to school. I took him last night to IKEA, out of all places, which is 40 miles away. And we made the drive at night, and he had a great time, and I love the car. And he was in here enjoying the cigarette lighter, because not the cigarette lighter, but the USB charger that's back here for his tablet and whatnot. And we've done road trips in this car. I couldn't do road trips in previous cars because they either hurt our backs, like my back, my wife's back. They were uncomfortable to drive long distances. I put 700 miles on this car in 3 days, and it was the best 700 miles that I think I've ever driven in a car. So, that said, I'm going to leave it there for you guys. Go down in the comments, drop me a like, subscribe, help us out, make this channel grow. At the same time, I hope to have some more updates about the recall later on in the week. We'll see if there's anything else that's going to happen before the holidays come up. Otherwise, I'm going to do some tech videos that are not specific to the Bolt EV, but we'll see. We'll see what comes out of it. Anyway, I wish you guys all the best. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.